My name is McNally. I am the agricultural production manager for the company. Background is in the plantation side. The company is divested or got out of plantations, and we're doing far more work with smallholder cocoa production now. So we've still got one plantation, but the whole idea is it's all to do with technology transfer from plantation work experience, getting that all across into smallholder sector so we can improve their productivity, improve their socio-economic conditions and livelihoods. And we do it as part of our business model. We achieve it through what we call commercial agronomy, which is what these young gentlemen do. That's 1, 2, 3, Douglas, Hosea, Peter, Ephraim's not here. There's more. They're out in the field all over the place. We've got them in Bougainville as well. Very good team of CAs have developed in Bougainville. So it's part of the business model for the company as we move forward. We take a lead in working with our smallholder producers. Commercial agronomy is people talk about extension officers and things, but I'm something below public sector. We want to think of it as a sound business to business arrangement, working with farmers for the mutual benefit of farmers and the business. So when part of the role is to tap into funding opportunities for smallholder agriculture. So when we see opportunities arising, such as PACD, in the past PPAP, before that we worked with PNG Sustainable Development. That was probably the first of all these projects. What we developed in the early days, and that was about 2008, 2009, in collaboration with PNG Sustainable Development. And the project design has remained fairly consistent all through on how we'd like to think that PPAP first sort of built upon what we'd already done, utilizing PNG Sustainable Development co-funding. They came on board because they recognized the value of the work that we were doing as a company, independently, without support in the post-endemic CPB situation with cocoa farmers, for cocoa farmers. And rolled that out, and then PPAP came along. We wrote up the proposals for PPAP. We did two PPAP grants, and there was call one. We didn't manage call one because we were still working on with the PNG Sustainable. Call two, we rolled 2 projects in call 2, plus there was upscaling. We did upscaling. So it was like 3 or 4 grants came out of PPAP. Then comes along PACD, and we submitted 3 project proposals. One is in the south coast of New Britain, which runs through East New Britain and West New Britain, and we've got 2 projects in Bougainville on small buka, Halia, Onkutan. That's mainly women farmers, and then we've got the Nova Farmers project, which is an old plantation which has been or is in the process of being subdivided into smallholder cocoa farming. We won't maybe for this session we won't dwell too much on the Bougainvillian ones, because in Bougainville they've got their own management. There's a very senior management structure there. Salome looks after that, reports to me, but the management system, we have a management system which the company runs to account for all this type of grant funding that comes through. So what happens in Bougainville comes through here. Angie, myself, and Hosea administer it here. Then it's for the, if we look at mainly financial expenditure plus procurement stuff, it's approved against the budget and the project design. It then goes, that's the physical approvals. It then goes to our financial management team for final financial approval. It's exactly the same as we do for the business units that we are responsible for the business clients that we manage for as well. So it's modeled on something that already exists. Now, the South Coast New Britain project, it's very remote. I think it's quite unique with PACD in that there are 3 discrete enclaves of farmers. One is at Jacquinot Bay, one is at Uvol inside, and the other one is at Kandrian. So there are 3 discrete geographic locations, and it makes it quite challenging because of the remoteness. Access is by ship only, or a boat if you're really brave. At this time of year. But so it's a challenging area to work in. We're already there at Palmalmal, Jacquinot Bay. We have an agent, so we are the lead partner. Our agent at Palmalmal, Kalamalagi Holdings, they are the producer I forget all the terms. They're the next level, the producer organization. Yeah. So that is a fully formed company, Kalamalagi Holdings Limited. We then go to Uvol. Uvol is an informal farmer group at Poyo village. They're not registered as anything. They are what we refer to as a farmer group with a common interest. Their common interest being the improvement of their livelihoods through cocoa production. We were already working with them. We adopted them at the end of their period of working with the United Nations, the Members Project, where they introduced solar-dried cocoa and started to build up their cocoa production. At the end of the implementation period, we adopted their product, solar-dried cocoa, specifically for the marketing. When you do these sort of things, you've got to have a fully joined up value chain now. So farmers produce, and then in Papua New Guinea, the value chain is very short for cocoa, so then the farmer sells to exporter sells to chocolate manufacturer or cocoa processor. In the case of Uvol, Poyo Farmer Group, they'd already established a link with a niche buyer overseas, but they needed a value chain actor between the farmer and the overseas buyer. So we stepped in and picked that up. Then PACD comes along with the opportunity to work on building their business model, and that's what we were doing. Kandrian, that is a cooperative farmers group, Koliai Cooperative. So that's a formal cooperative registered with business groups, ward by ward, isn't that right, Douglas? Ward by ward business groups, already organized in a cooperative. We're already working with them. And the objective of utilizing the PACD grant is to continue to grow their business model through inward investment in what we identified as gaps in their capacity. Short of cocoa nurseries, short of cocoa dryers, short of knowledge, because and if you read up on the project design, the backbone of the thing was that due to climate change, cocoa pod borer had been able to migrate down that coast to areas where it had never been before, and so the farmers needed urgent training on how to manage their cocoa in the post-endemic CPB situation. Cocoa which they then invested in themselves to get off the ground. So we needed to preserve what they'd already invested in themselves and help them through this difficult situation and to grow their business model moving forward. So the design, there's the word diversification, PACD, diversification. The diversification in the South Coast New Britain one has been kept very simple on purpose, because of the challenges in remoteness and location, so that it's easy to implement. So the diversification component along the coast is the progressive introduction of more improved Galip nut varieties, with training and upskilling on the first stage processing of Galip nut, so that, in fact, today Frangipani Foods, we've got some of the farmers here. I think maybe they could join us, but they're already they're out on business at the moment, loading cargo to go back down. Frangipani Foods were to have met with the lead farmers from Kandrian today to discuss market access for Galip nut from that area. That's probably rescheduled to tomorrow morning or maybe tonight while they're here. So that's a sort of background to the thing, where we're at. We've got Douglas here. Douglas looks after Kandrian. Peter, you're Poyoa.
Yep.
And then Ephraim, who's missing, he's looking after Kalamalagi. You see, I hear he's our data and document controller, and Angie is our keeps us all in order with accounts and filing and record keeping, keeps all of us on our toes. Yeah, very good at it. And so Angie's got all the accounting responsibilities, and it's again, we've got a process in place, and that's for the 3 projects. Everything funnels through here and through Angie's workstation, all the financial stuff.
So why did Agmark choose to participate in this World Bank supported initiative, and how does it align with your long-term corporate strategy?
Okay, I already explained it, sir. It's we work with smallholder farmers. We use the term commercial agronomy. We believe the future as an agribusiness is to be working in close association with the smallholder farmers that produce probably 99% of all the cocoa that the company exports. So it's a mutually beneficial working business-to-business relationship. When public, private financing, grant support opportunities come along, we take it on board as inward investment to support a business model we believe is very worthy of support. As I said, improving our smallholder farmers' productivity and their whole livelihoods.
Would you know how many farmer groups or individual farmers are currently working with Agmark and the PACD?
Oh yes, PACD. Unfortunately, it's been restricted to 1,500 per project. So there's a limit. It's been capped off. for, I presume, simplicity of management. If we look at the South Coast New Britain project, as I said, the design is very simple. The design was to engage with 1,498 cocoa farming households. The project management level, the decision was at some point along the way decided to cap that off at 500 per project. Now, the interesting thing is that even though the project was capped off at project management level at 500, the reality is that, and Douglas will confirm this, is the impact will go much further than just 500 because of how it's designed. The facilities and materials and stuff are not to individuals, they are to groups. And as I say, the backbone of the project design for South Coast New Britain is farmer training. And so when the agronomists go to the field to run training programs, they keep two lists of attendees. One list is for the formally enrolled and paid up participating households. That's the ones who are paid up the 100 kina, and they're in the book. It's there. And the rest is for all the other farmers who come along as well. So there's the 500, and then there's the 1,498, which were already built into the proposal and the project design. But there are more than that as well. It's just the nature of the design is such that more farmers and households will benefit from the inward investment of PPAP. There's access to nurseries, there's access to cocoa drying facilities, community drying facilities, that tools distribution element to groups, and the groups have their own, they grow organically in their own way out there. So and obviously the training, the training is the backbone. And so many more people get the benefit of training, and in addition to what the agronomists can do in the field, farmers teach themselves. All yet by line in hands-on experience, learning how to improve the production, what have you here.
So what kind of technical or material support is Agmark providing to these farmers to improve cocoa yields and quality?
Douglas, you want to talk? Give it. No? Okay, I'll continue. I mean, Douglas is doing the work in the field. You can cut it, you can chip in at any time. But as I said, the backbone of that thing, this project design, is that we went at it with the issue of it's climate change driven, in that the climate change, if we go back in time, we can look at the south coast of New Britain. Cocoa only produced during 5 months of the year. The other 7 months of the year, there are no cocoa pods on the tree, which is quite different to the Gazelle Peninsula and other parts of the country. And that's to do with weather, because of the wet season is wet, and the dry season is dry. And so they had 5 months with cocoa on the trees, harvest is finished. You will not see cocoa from that area for 7 months until the season starts again. That prevented cocoa pod borer from migrating into that area. It gave that There was nothing that cocoa pod borer could not survive in that situation now, because there's no pods on the trees. There's no chance of survival. However, along the way, somewhere, I don't know, I guess about 2015 or so, from 2015 onwards, the weather pattern had changed to such an extent that we spotted that cocoa was starting to come 12 months of the year along the coast. And then we anticipated that cocoa pod borer would migrate into the area because it's got the opportunity to continue to multiply. So, and true, then the word started coming in that from the farmers themselves that they were losing their cocoa. It wasn't all over that. So we went in with an intervention. PACD comes along at the same time. We designed the project to support that work, to train farmers on how to manage their cocoa in the post-endemic CPB situation. That is the backbone of the thing. Yeah.
So have you noticed any measurable impact on farmer productivity or income since the project began?
No, you cannot see the impact. The nature of PACD and the project interventions, similarly with PPAP, the same with PNG Sustainable, you do not see the impact during the period of implementation. If we look at this, at the moment, what we're saying here amongst ourselves is cocoa is back in Bougainville. Cocoa is back here. And when you talk to farmers, it's very clear that what we're seeing now, 2025, they're all talking about it. This is the result of PPAP. Part of it is the result of PPA, plus other interventions that were going on. So we're seeing the results of this type of project intervention, which, if we look at PPAP, that was completed, wound up, final reports done in 2020. Here we are in 2025, 24, 25, when we really see the results coming through. Yeah. So I would imagine that for PACD it will be similar. The money is all spent, the clever people are all laid off and gone, the farmers are still working, NGIP Agmark is still working, sustainability is always built into what we do. We know that PACD will be done and dusted, gone home, we'll still be working, and the farmers and our business will see the benefits of the project intervention. This is 2025, it will be 2028 and beyond before we see the real benefits that accrue to this investment. Yeah. And so when it comes to monitoring and evaluation, the project that's at the higher level, at PCU and DAL, they really need to have their M&E units funded to monitor way beyond the completion dates of the intervention of the project. We can see it. We already see it. People think you can get no. This is agriculture. You don't get a result now. I mean, you will see with the diversification element where you've gone into some of the partnerships have gone into small livestock. Yeah, you will start to see immediate or rapid returns. The interesting thing on that will be to monitor post-project sustainability of those diversifications. what really survives. That's where you really got to look at it after.
So, beyond cocoa, is Agmark assisting farmers with diversification in other crops such as coconut or galips?
Yes. Like the South Coast New Britain, the diversification component is Galip nut, and our joint partner is Frangipani Foods. Okay, and so we at some point along the way we will be going to the field in a joint activity with Frangipani Food field agronomists and our agronomists. They'll be out there working together to get this thing. In fact, we just procured 49,010 garlic nut seeds there. Elite, it's which ones is it? The elite from Nari, but they're the ones from that side. Yeah. So that these are the ones that will survive in that environment. The selections from South Coast New Britain. So we believe we'll have a high success rate. So it's very simple in this one. When we look at the other two projects, Aliai, Hankutan, and Bougainville, and Nova project in Bougainville, yep, there's a number of components. There are pig farming components, poultry, coconuts. Yes, they're resetting coconuts. Yes, so there's those three different things.
So what are the long-term sustainability plans once the PACD project funding winds down?
As I mentioned already, NGIP Agmark Limited will be here. Yeah. Kind people have already moved on to other activities. It's built in from before we put pen to paper. You know, it's like these projects are not freestanding entities. They are an integral part of our business model. And the investment goes to smallholder, what we call farmer supply groups that market their cocoa through the company. And so sustainability, for us, it's not a question in terms of cocoa. We believe that sustainability is built in the same fashion with our collaboration with Frangipani Foods Limited. Coconut, no issue. The market, the value chain is fully established for 100 years or whatever it is. Sustainability is not an issue. The biggest challenge will come from post-project intervention sustainability with small-scale livestock production. I do come from a livestock farming background, and I can see very clearly the challenge is that for small-scale livestock production, the value chain is not fully formed. There are links missing in the value chain. If I was a small-scale livestock producer, the missing link is commercial abattoir. So if I'm a pig farmer, pig farming in particular, chicken is not such a problem because people guzzle chickens like crazy. But once you upscale pig production, you do actually need that link in the value chain to be established so that work becomes sustainable, I believe. Because you need to actually kill and eat those pigs, otherwise you'll eat all your profits on time, every time. That'll be the real challenge. We shall see how it goes. At the moment, we've got a situation where the smallholder livestock producer, it's from farmer to plate, farmer straight into people's mouth. The links, and so you mentioned that you're going to see the PNG growers and their approach. This is very interesting because they are addressing that missing link. They're putting in place a small commercial abattoir, which should be available to provide that service for farmers. When the small livestock is ready to be butchered, you sell to the abattoir. The abattoir, what's the word? There's a word for it. You process it. Yeah, you change the nature of the product from live to you package it, you freeze it, and it becomes available for retail. So at the moment, they're doing retail as well. My advice is always to don't take on all the links in the value chain. You take on that missing link, the abattoir. Negotiate a market with wholesalers or retailers for the abattoir. Don't get too adventurous and try to do everything yourself. If we come back to cocoa again, Agmark is one link in the value chain. We buy from farmers. We are the export link, very important link. We think of value chains as being made up of links, and you try to keep the links joined up and fill in the missing links. If we look at the Galip nut, the missing link is from farmer to first buyer. We need to get Galip nuts off the trees, processed into a stable state, which then can be transported for a period of time to the next first point buyer, like we do with cocoa. That's established. Copra is established. So now, if we look at how what we're designing for Galip nut, we're trying to fix that missing link, and hopefully, in so doing, we'll also start to put in place a model for that emerging industry. So you've got the farmers who can bring it to this stable state, to move it to the marketplace, and then that processor processes and packages it for export. Export or consumption.
Just one last thing. What are your thoughts on the PACD project?
Thoughts? Thank you. It's a helpful intervention. I mean, any support is good support for smallholder agriculture. The most unusual thing is that while when we wrote up this project, farmers were getting maybe 400 kina for a bag of cocoa. And so an intervention of this nature was like necessary, because farmers couldn't do much themselves. To where we are now today, 4 times as much, 4.5 times as much farmers are getting, and copra farmers as well. I mean, the prices for agricultural commodities are at historical highs.
And coffee up in the highlands.
It's the whole thing here. Yeah, highest everything. It beggars belief. This is a time to be a farmer. If you ever wanted to be a farmer. Yeah, I wish I had a cocoa block. Yeah. So it changes not the dynamics of the thing, but the farmers right now. For example, we've got opportunity to do some training on certain things with PACD. So the lead farmers are here, some of them are here. So we call them and say, look, here's an opportunity to, we can get into these training courses. And, you know, normally you would expect they would grab the chance, but they actually said, sorry boss, people are not here. People are busy lokakoya. They must get back to their cocoa because it's returns to labor. They can see that by working in the cocoa blocks, they are getting good returns to their hard work. And so right now we cannot get people to participate on some of the trainings. That's the peripheral trainings, not the core training of the peripheral trainings on, what's this one called? Gender, equity and social inclusion. There's another one just came up yesterday, nutrition. We'll struggle. I think Bougainville, they've got it sorted out because the project locations in Bougainville are along a very neat, a really good road there. It's like international quality highway. Wow. Nothing like it here anymore. And so 10 minutes you can just, and so it's very easy for training facilitators to move and be home at night. Whereas for South Coast New Britain, we're looking at training trainers at community level. But the potential units at community level they're busy cultivating and harvesting their cocoa, and that's the challenge that we're up against. And then to look at getting trainers from outside to go into those areas. There's two things. One, difficult to find people to do it. And two, when they do go in there, peripheral training activities, and it's just unfortunate it's during the cocoa flush. We would have to put it back until the cocoa flush finishes so that people would have time to, and their thinking is to waste on non-core functions. So we're struggling with that as we speak.